Hello and good morning on this beautiful sunlit day here in Orange County, California. My name is Tamara McClure and I'll be your moderator for today's session. My guest today is Brad Winslow, and if you're watching this, you're most likely aware that Brad has recently declared his intention to seek the Democratic nomination to run in the 2016 general election for the job of President of the United States. Full disclosure here, I am being paid for this event. I'm not a professional journalist, and the interview format we've chosen for today was simply what fit best for the back and forth order of the questions. Brad and I have reviewed the questions beforehand, but I've not heard any of the answers. And a key function for me today is to interject any follow-up questions as I see fit to illuminate or clarify any particular answer. So Brad, and I think we're trying to be informal here, would you care to say a few words?
Very good. Thank you, Tamara. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'd like to start off by quickly acknowledging everyone's participation today. Tamara, thank you for being here. Our video team coming in from LA, never an easy trip. I have Victor and Don, who are former business associates of me and have signed on for various technical tasks working with me today. Thank you guys very much for being here. And we are here at the beautiful Summit House restaurant and event venue. Sits high atop the hill at State College. It's one of my favorite places in Orange County. And in some of the shots, as you look over our shoulder, you'll see the San Bernardino mountain range that's actually featured on the front side of our website. So we begin.
Okay, first question right out of the box. President of the United States, not exactly a typical project to engage in, usually reserved for folks in the political bubble sphere. You're not a governor, ex-senator, not a member of the House of Representatives. So a reasonable question would be to ask you to speak to your qualifications for the job.
Qualifications? I agreed to that question?
Actually, shown here is page 1, question 1.
Okay. Yes, it probably should be. Okay, so I'll do this, and I've actually run this over in my head a couple of times. Comes out different each time. We'll speak to qualifications, and I'll bring Hillary Clinton in right away. In her 2014 book tour, Hillary Clinton was asked about the coincidence of a possibility of a general election between a Clinton and a Bush and the deja vu all over again thing. And Hillary Clinton's answer was the correct one, and she responded, "It's a free country. Anyone can run," end quote. So although I know we have a predisposition to elect people who have already been president, the truth of the matter is anybody can run. Great example is Ross Perot, private citizen, stepped into the political arena for the very first time, and even through kind of like a dysfunctional campaign, ended up with about 18% of the vote. So we'll go to the Constitution really quickly. Article 2, Section 1, Paragraph 5 talks about the specific true qualifications to be president. You must be a natural-born citizen. You must have lived in the country for 14 years, and you have to be at least 35 years old. So on all three of those qualifications, I meet them, and so I'm running.
Okay, but not everybody who may be technically qualified to be president will be able to run a successful campaign or be effective in the job of president.
Right. I mean, beyond, to your point, beyond the basic qualifications, the logical question is who is likely to win the political contest and actually be president, and how effective will that person be? To that, I would say we have an absolutely stellar system in this country for selecting a president, and that's called the person that runs the best campaign wins. So Barack Obama won the 2008 presidential election. He didn't win over John McCain because he had more experience. I mean, Obama had a run in the Illinois State Senate and then 2 years in the U.S. Senate. John McCain at the time, I think, had about 80 years in the U.S. Senate, or something like that. Obama won because by every single judgment he ran a letter perfect campaign, and that's the sign that the person is going to be run an excellent presidential administration. So I would say judge me by the campaign that I'll run, and we'll see how that goes.
So beyond that, what skills would you bring to the campaign and potentially the job of president?
Well, first off, my main skill is I am an idea person. That's got to be the bumper sticker of who I am at my core inner self. My profession, 34 years, I've been an IT person, which is information technology, and at the DNA level of that job is really solutions. IT gets called in to fix the problems, fix the leaks, find the waste. It's a pretty cool job, and it's not all about numbers. I mean, at the end, we're probably going to throw some technology at it, write some code, and that'll do the fix. But on the front side is the analysis of what the problem is, what evolutionary change caused this to happen, and we'll do all of the options that might help, and then we'll pick the best one, apply that fix to the solution, and work our way forward from there.
And so you're saying this IT, what I'm going to call the IT mindset, this IT view of the world would help? Yes. How, what would you offer as some examples of that?
Well, the president has to make a lot of decisions. I'm not trying to highlight anyone's mistakes, because all presidents have them. But looking at the current presidency, which is the one we're most familiar with, I could talk to where I think an IT mindset would help. We won't do Snowden because that's got IT written all over it, you know, the whole NSA thing. We'll do the Obamacare rollout, and we'll do the VA mess. So talking about the Obamacare website rollout, I think there's 2.5 million people in just the executive branch of the federal government, or something like that. I mean, it's difficult to believe that they couldn't have carved out 300,000 people to test the Obamacare website prior to rollout. So that would be, every IT person knows that when you put stress on a system like that, it's going to crumble, if it's going to crumble at all. Someone in the room knew that, but they weren't high enough up to stop that rollout from going, essentially to stop the disaster. With a IT person in the chair at the head of the table, you're not going to have that problem. And I want to be sensitive here, because on the VA thing, some deaths were involved. But on the VA thing, there was a compensation structure that tied compensation to wait times. Well, anytime that happens, the numbers are going to be fixed and exaggerated. But you try to install systems that mitigate that. I can't go to Chick-fil-A that I get to the drive-thru and they hand me a receipt that says you can get a free chicken sandwich, just log into this website and give your opinion. We've got the email address of every single person that leaves the service and enters the VA system. Just make an offer to them, incentivize them to log in and give us their opinion of what their current service is. That would have shown on the books over here. We've got one official tally of people are waiting, you know, like for 2 months maximum, and the survey says, well, no, we're waiting like 6-7 months. So that's where an IT mindset would come in. You've got to actually do the numbers and see that everybody is being honest in that situation. So that's it.
You know, the president has to make a lot of decisions.
Right. I mean, this is part of the case I'm going to make on the campaign trail. Look, with 35 years in IT, lengthy career in management, I think I can probably sit at the head of a table and listen to 5 highly intelligent people say we should just bomb that house in Abbottabad, and listen to 5 other literally, truly geniuses on the other side of the table say, no, we should send in SEAL Team 6. I think given the extremely high quality options that are being offered in that, I think I could probably make that decision. Now, again, I don't want to say that the president's an easy job, okay? But I do know it's a complicated one, but I feel that there are a great many other Americans who could also sit in that chair and make that decision. And a lot of those aren't even named Clinton or Bush. So I think that type of decision-making process is more related to how much risk you're willing to accept for the reward that you will get in the end.
And my unofficial job is to keep track of the time we mention the Clintons. And I think that's twice now.
Maybe.
Okay, so now we'll pivot to the 28th Amendment, an amendment you're calling the Public House Amendment. Let's talk shortly on what it is, the problem that you're trying to solve.
Okay. The problem really is modern media buys votes, and that's really the core of this issue. Elections are no longer about performance. They're about money. Money buys media. If you can buy enough media, you can convince anybody that, or make it more likely that they will be convinced that you're a great candidate for whatever office you're running for, and you can convince them that the person that they're running against is a horrible person. Again, all related to media buys and money. The amount of money being collected at the district level for congressmen or at the state level for senators just can't actually fund these very high-priced media campaigns. And so candidates are turning to the big money donors, and the big money donors are much smaller in number, and they have a much more focused agenda, and they control not only the agenda, but they now control even behavior of our congressional folks themselves. So money's here to stay. We need something to counter the money argument, and the 28th Amendment installs our oversight rights so that we can get our Congress back under control.
Okay, so make the case here for the Public House Amendment as a solution.
Okay, so, and we talked about this in the summary video, we talked about it on the website. The preamble of the Constitution has, the first 3 words are, we the people. And that means that we the people actually own the government. And universally constitutional scholars believe that. So let's compare the rights of the owners of a business to the rights we have as citizens of the United States. First thing is, let's say a bunch of owners are starting a business, or they buy a business and all of the management team has gone. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to interview folks for those management positions. And in the public space, in the government space, we call this a political campaign. People go out and they campaign, they solicit our votes for jobs in the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the President. Next thing the owners of a business are going to do is they're going to hire some of those people who interviewed for those jobs. In the public space, this is called an election. In an election, the voters of the United States will select who they think is the best person to be in that particular job in the government. So the 2 rights that we are missing is the right of setting goals, which is something that all successful companies do, and the right of oversight. The owners of every single business are going to come in periodically, look at the job that a management team is doing. Where are you on the goals that we set for you, and are you behaving yourself and getting along with each other? So those are the 2 rights that we're missing. The case is that these 2 missing abilities is the reason that our government doesn't function with a sense of shared purpose and run more cohesively and cooperatively like so many businesses do. So that's the case for why this solution is necessary.
Okay, so getting into the details now. Can you talk about the public house structure? What is it? What is it made of?
Okay. The structure of the public house is there's 435 volunteers. There's one at every single congressional district. They have to be an American citizen, native born or naturalized, doesn't matter, and they have to be able to devote about 4 hours a week to the job, not too much. They have to be available for some travel, and if they have like emailing, collaborative workspace stuff, then that's much the better, but it's not a requirement. There's one public house volunteer for each congressional district. Anybody can apply. The position is actually not a voting position, it's actually more of a coordinating position. Once a month, more if needed, the public house volunteers assemble a citizen group called the Public House Quorum. And this is 10 to 15 regular American citizens pulled from a pool of volunteers who signed up for that job. Why would they do that? Well, the quorums meet on Saturday at a local restaurant. Lunch is provided. It's from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And they're paid $250 just to show up for that one day of service. So it's not like a jury panel that actually is going to pay some money here. The quorums are meant to resemble a jury panel, primarily because they are tasked with enacting the public house functions by reviewing factually based, partisan balanced presentations. So they are our vehicle to look at the issues of the day in a factual, nonpartisan way. So on this particular Saturday, any particular Saturday, there would be 4,000 to 6,000 regular American citizens providing goals for the government to work towards and oversight of how they're doing that and how they're behaving.
Just interjecting here, that seems like a lot of responsibility for those people.
Well, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with the statement, but again, it's meant to resemble the jury panel, and jury panels of 12 men and women throughout the history of this republic have been chartered with literally life and death decisions. So it's not, I don't think it's asking too much of the public house quorums to decide, public policy issues.
Who gets to be on a public house quorum? Because it seems like an influential job.
Panel members are selected from a pool of citizens who signed up for it. But the thing is that the total number of panel members across the United States, all 435 quorums, has to be partisan balanced for the current composition demographics of the general population of the United States. And we do that because there's no such thing as a party neutral person. And we can't really go by the congressional district because both Democrats and Republicans heavily gerrymander their congressional districts to suit their own needs. So we really want the entire public house to really look as much like the American public as they possibly can. Three things. Republicans should love this because, after all, we are still a center-right nation. So the composition of the public house quorums in their totality will be still center-right. Democrats should love this because it's uniquely fair, and the one thing that drives Democrats is we love things to be fair. It's a big issue for me personally. Independents should love this because they finally get equal representation. I think in Congress right now there's about 2 representatives who are independent, and yet if you go out there and do a survey, 51% of the American public is actually in the independent camp. They are independent Republican leaning, independent liberal leaning, but they're independent. So it's something for everyone who's out there on the political side. The quorums are also supposed to be balanced as much as possible for gender, racial, ethnic, economic demographics as a whole, where that is absolutely possible.
Okay, so part of my job is to check off the points here. The senior vision team.
Okay, right. I mean, it's a very fancy title, but it's not a fancy job. The senior vision team is like 7 members who manage a staff of support people, technical support people. They hire the outside auditors, both on the right and on the left, to make sure that there are partisan balanced presentations. The higher level job for the SV, the senior vision team, is that they guard the public house from intrusion by the parties, because we all know that's going to try to happen, and they try to keep it as nonpartisan and factually based as they possibly can.